Look, to begin, let me read something out to you. The Voice is creating a separate entity. We, Indigenous Australians, are not a separate entity. We should be considered Australian citizens and a part of the fabric of this nation. Now, that was the great Senator Jacinta Price, who we heard from earlier today. That quote was from a video that she did with us at the Institute of Public Affairs discussing her perspective on the Voice to Parliament. Also on that video was Senator James McGrath and leading academic Anthony Dillon. That video was censored by big tech, by Facebook. They said it didn't comply with their policies on elections or referenda. We asked, well, in what exact way does an elected member of Parliament saying that she believes all Australians are equal not abide by your policies? We haven't heard back yet. But have a look at this. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this, but I want to hold this up. This is what you see when you go on Facebook and look at our research, a post on the Voice to Parliament. It's all blurred out. That's what they're doing to your voice. And this is not the first time we've had censorship, and we're not the only ones to be censored, and I can guarantee you it won't be the last time. What is happening now to censorship of mainstream Australians like you is just an entree with what will happen to our nation under laws proposed by the government. You may have heard of the misinformation and disinformation laws. Well, the Combating Misinformation and Disinformation Bill would be the single biggest assault on freedom of political communication in Australia's peacetime history, and it would outlaw disagreement, dissent and criticism of government policy. Never before has an Australian government sought to weaponise its bureaucracy through compelling a private digital organisation to shut down speech and the communication of Australian citizens. The bill takes the very worst of Sections 18C and the since abandoned Finkelstein laws, it supercharges them, removes critical legal protections that Australians ought to have, and would empower a vast and secretive bureaucracy to hunt and shut down Australians who disagree with contentious and debated government policies. Under the bill, there are entities who, of course, would be exempt. Government is exempt. Academia is exempt. Politicians are exempt. The mainstream media is exempt. You're not exempt. They exempt themselves and they permit themselves to spread misinformation, yet citizens who share that information could be punished and censored, including through imprisonment under certain circumstances. That an Australian government would ever contemplate a scenario whereby one of its citizens could potentially be jailed for merely expressing an opinion which they hold to be true violates every principle of human rights.